Okay, there we go. Now you guys can hear me. Okay, that was my bad. that was my bad entirely. I was thought that it was on. It was not on. All right, make sure that all that's put in together. Okay, we're good to go on that front. So, hey, what's going on, Lunith? How you doing, buddy? Yeah, there's going to be, we'll do this for a while because last night I was over on $3 Theater. Tonight I figured I'd be over here, see what's going on, and get some calls if people want to call in, talk about whatever, because that's kind of the whole name of the show here. And it should be a fun time. All right, get that. Okay. Actually, hold on here. Having issues. Everything's having issues right now. All my social media stuff is having issues. Everything is having issues. That requires some form of fucking tissue, I assume. All right. And put that out. Okay. That's been posted. Now comes the fun part of trying to get the an incognito window to work so I can actually post the chat on the screen. Let's see if we can get this thing to work. All right, sounds fine, at least on my end. Pop out chat. Why it doesn't have... Damn it. Okay, let's figure this thing out. This is what sucks when trying to do the chat thing. Trying to get the chat working on screen. It's definitely going to be an issue here for a minute. We're going to pop that out. Okay, can I? Yeah, see, I don't want to do that. I wish I could have it to where like. Well, the thing is, I could log out. I could log out and then just do it that way, but that's not going to mean anything. All right. I've been having some technical issues, which is why I was going to get this up a little earlier tonight, but I unfortunately had some technical issues that were happening. So that took it a little bit harder than, took me a little bit longer than I wanted to. And we'll have to see what is going on with all that as we can get it working. So come on in, hang out. Enjoy this and never-ending subway train through New York. That is all good. And we'll get it going here as soon as somebody comes on in. Now, if you want to join into the Discord, you got to go into the green room, which is the waiting room, or just one of the voice rooms, and I can drag people in after that. So we'll do that, and then you might have to go in through the verification, which just let me know in the chat that I'll be reading. That hopefully I'll be able to get up. And then we'll be able to go from there. I'll try this again. Maybe it will work now. No, it's not. See, here's what Streamlabs is doing. Streamlabs has the widget. It has the fucking widget, but the widget is not launching on the browser. And so it doesn't work on the browser here, so it's not working on the browser on OBS, so it's one of the things that's throwing me off. So I have no idea how to fucking fix it. Outside of, I guess, logging out. Because I've got the Google Dark. Well, you know what I can do? You know what I'm going to try? It's going to be a little bit weird, but we're going to give this thing a go here. Gaming.youtube.com MondayMatt/live. All right. Not life. Live. Okay. So, all right. There we go. That will work. Let's pop that chat out. Okay, now this comes the fun part of trying to get OBS to do chat while coming in through a Firefox browser that I'm not logged into, because that would be fan-fucking-tastic. All right, we're going to try that there. You guys can see that there. Okay, so we will alt that real quick. And blow that up a little bit. You know what? I'm actually going to quickly tweak that. Yeah, we'll do tweak that a little bit. And There we go. So now we got chat on the screen. All right. At least the chat isn't going bonkers. Give it time. Give it time. We'll see what happens here. So again, if you guys want to come on in, you can join the Discord. Link right there is on the is in the bottom left-hand corner, or you guys can call in to the Skype line, which may have some technical problems as I try to figure out how the fuck that works in the process. So we'll go through this evening. It will be a good amount of time, I'm hoping. Again, I want to jump in to do more of these, like this interaction with you guys streams, because I haven't done that in a while. And I think that would be a fair amount of fun. We just got to give people a little bit of time because this is kind of a last minute deal, so to speak. And close out my Facebook just because Facebook sucks up so much goddamn data. I don't know if it's just me, but Facebook consistently craps out. It just always craps the fuck out. Right? It's just always terrible. I fucking hate it. So, all right. General chat. Let's see here. Okay. All right. So, got someone in the Discord who wants to come on in, so we'll make sure that's good. Again, this is just a tester. I had a lot of fun. I did like a 2-hour stream last night over on 3 Buck Theater talking to people about movies. Tonight just had the desire to talk to people just normally about whatever's going on. Like literally we'll chit chat about whatever. It will be a good time. And yeah, we're gonna go from there. So we've got all right. Just wait a second here. Let me move that up. Trying to make sure it's all close together so I can just easily move things around. I have to do that because Discord is what Discord is, I guess. All right, blah, blah, you can take off, man. I just got this thing going with absolutely no preparation whatsoever, no announcement whatsoever. So it takes people time to get the notifications. I think it's funny when you're like, it's so sad, see you later. But it's like, it's been less than 10 minutes. People aren't going to drop what they're doing at 10:14 p.m. on a Sunday night. Oh, you're watching Conversations with the Killer, the Ted Bundy Files. Is that the 4-part documentary that they just did? Which is the big one? What's the new one now? There's a new one. There's a new Ted Bundy thing that I've been checking out. I watched a few episodes of it. It was pretty solid. It was pretty good. I liked it. I already know the Ted Bundy story though, like pretty well. So for me, it's not a huge issue. It's definitely not a huge issue. All right, so we got Voice of the Emperor. Hey man, how's it going?
It's going all right actually. Just watching some DBZ Abridged.
That sounds like a very painful experience.
It's actually surprisingly well done. I mean, the writing is incredible. I watched a lot of DBZ as a kid, and the writing of this shit is so good. I mean, so good that I think even some of the actual writers behind DBZ like invited them to anime cons and gave them their own little booth and shit.
That's cool. I've never been able to get into Dragon Ball. It just
well,
never.
Dragon Ball Z Abridged actually does help bridge a lot of the gaps between a lot of stuff, and they do shorten things down a lot. In fact, they even make fun of the ridiculous charge-up times.
Well, everyone makes fun of the ridiculous charge-up times. I think that's part of the charm of the show. Ultimately, for me, it's never been something that I've been super fascinated with. It's I don't know. Anime doesn't speak to me like it does other people. I had a coworker of mine that was completely into anime. Loved
total
anime.
weeb.
Total. I mean, not like, but not in the traditional sense.
He was more of a critic of anime and a big fan.
It was more like, well, this guy. How do I
kind of like what you are with movies?
Well, no, because this dude was like, this guy was a bit on the slower side. You know, like his mom did drugs with him while she was pregnant with him. So like he was slower. So he's got like a mind of a child, so to speak.
Oh no.
And so as a result of that, it becomes this, it becomes this big problem with him. And that ultimately ends up being part of his psyche. And so for him, anime was kind of like how he would escape, because they lived like
It was his escapism.
yeah, it was like they lived in a roach infested apartment, like one after another after another after another.
Never tell Rich that.
Who?
Rich of Review Tech USA. He hates roaches.
Okay. Well, I don't care. I haven't talked to Rich since August. So
Of last year.
Yeah. So, and he's like asked about me a couple times, and then I reached out to him, and then he doesn't even bother to fucking either check Twitter DMs or check Discord DMs. So I have no idea what the fuck he's up to. That or
I think
actively avoiding me. I have no idea.
I don't know. Maybe the trolls are just getting to him.
Well, I thought him and I were friends, so if I'm considered a troll on his end, then oh well,
Well, let's not forget Review Hell USA. I mean, he did dox you.
Well, Review Hell USA is, that guy's a piece of shit. That guy's an absolute piece of shit.
And he should be in prison for what he's done.
Well, he lives in another country where the laws there may not be the same, which is kind of the whole difference. So if the country, I mean, I'm not, he is gone as far. What is it? That one time he reached out to, Rich was at the gym and he found the gym Rich was at and called the gym.
Okay, there's dedication, and then there's like,
then
there's like just asking the CIA to hire you.
He did. He called the gym Rich was at while he was there, and then tried like getting him to talk to him or some shit. Like,
okay, dude, we'll just walk into Langley and hand them your resume.
That's that guy. I don't even know how at this point he found out who the fuck I am. I'm still trying to figure that one out. It's been over 3 years, 3.5 years. Still trying to figure that one out.
I think I might know how.
All right, well, fill me in.
There's this thing on the dark web where you can hire a hacker.
Do you really think Review Hell USA hired a hacker to find out my email address?
I wouldn't put it out of the realm of possibility.
That kind of guy is more of a shit poster than he is like hiring a hacker. I don't think it's that. What I think happened is I might have said something in a video that gave way to who I am. And he just happened
provided a little niche that he could just tunnel into.
And yeah, because there was a guy who was a fan, like from when I had like 600 subscribers, who was able to figure out who I was, based upon something I had said. And and then, but this was years ago. And then there was another dude who's an anti-gamergator who back in 2013 was able to figure out who I was. And I don't know how. I still, to this day, do not know fucking how. I was only like, it was May or June 2013, so I would have only had like, I think like 1,200 subscribers at that point.
Jeez.
So like, and I don't know how he did it, but he did somehow. He's able to figure it out. He never doxed me. He threatened to dox me. And then when he threatened to dox me, I went after him as well. And like, I mean,
he backed down.
No, because I never publicly stated what I found. Like, I found where he lived.
It was more of those. It was kind of like a stare down, and he blinked first.
No, this was more like if he released my info, I had his info on hand. Is more or less what it boiled down to.
MAD.
So,
I
got pissed. I mean, like, because the thing is, this was like 2013, so people weren't really locking down their Facebooks at that point, which is probably also my own problem.
Yes.
So it's like I found like
maybe that's how.
I mean, no, I had my Facebook when Review Hell emailed me in October 2015. I had my Facebook locked to private. Now the only thing is, though, he could see like who like my family was on there, which is how they figured that out. Because all they really did was figure out my name and then find a Facebook, and they scraped the public portion of my Facebook page, which wasn't much.
Right.
So Trojan viruses report them for threatening to dox. Yeah, this was like 5 years ago, dude. Almost 6 years ago. I didn't even think about that at that point in time. And Lunith is like, Rich works out. Yeah, he does. I saw a recent video of his, and he looks like he's lost a little bit of weight. So
Yeah, I know personally that no matter what you do, there's always going to be some weight that just refuses to go away.
yeah, well, it just happens the older you get, it stores
Yeah,
in certain places.
I'm only friggin' 26, and I still have a little bit of chub around the waist.
Yeah, well, I'm 36 and I got chub everywhere, so it's kind of how it goes. But then again, I'm
Yeah,
also a
but at least you
stay-at-home
have
parent.
hair on the at least you have hair on the top of your head,
Well, for now, yeah, for now.
dude. I lost mine in high school.
Then did you go full on Captain Picard? You should have gone full on Captain Picard or Mister
No, I look
Clean.
more like Chevy Chase with a
Ooh,
beard.
oof, oof.
Except I look, younger.
Oh man. Well, I mean, then you're not as anywhere near as what's the word I want to use here? Bitchy as him.
I don't really follow because I don't really think he's that bitchy. Maybe he probably is off camera, but that's pretty much every celebrity ever.
No, no. I've met quite a few. The thing is, there's a
Oh,
people.
right. You used to live in Cali.
Yeah, I used to
So.
live. I used to live in North Hollywood, and I used to
Oh, dear
meet
God.
celebrities all the time. I go to
Wait a
events
minute.
and they'd be
So
there. So
I have a Cali question. So when John Travolta shoots the black guy in the face, not Samuel L. Jackson, but when he shoots fuck.
fuck it. Oh, yeah. You're talking about Phil Lamar,
Yeah,
from Pulp
I
Fiction. Yeah, yeah,
yeah, I Phil Lamar? Wait, I know Phil Lamar.
yeah. That's Phil
He's the
Lamar. Yeah, yeah,
voice actor Static Shock.
yeah. Yeah. He's also he's in a lot of things.
I'll be damned. He was getting his acting on way
He was
back then
yeah. He was
too.
Marvin. Yeah,
I'll be
he was
damned.
Marvin
Okay.
in Pulp Fiction. Yeah. There's a
Marvin,
reason.
yeah.
There's a reason
When he
why
shoots
if you go back and you find the first episode of Mad TV, they have Gump Fiction, which is like their movie parody, and and Phil Lamar was in Mad TV, which came out 2 years after Pulp Fiction
Pulp
did,
Fiction.
and they
Yeah.
they redid the trailer for it, and he ended up like it shows him and he like crouches down like he does in the movie when the gunshots go off, and he just goes, "Oh no, not again." So like it was
But
it was a great
but
parody of that.
when John Travolta shoots Marvin in the face and Sam says, we're in the valley. Is that like, just on the other side of the Hollywood sign in the valley?
Yeah. The Valley. Okay, so L.A. kind of
Yeah, the valley, the
well,
LA, the valley is like the logistics area for Hollywood, where all the guys behind the camera go, right?
well, the Valley. Yeah, the Valley is where all the guys behind the camera can afford to fucking live. So it boils down to three sections. LA has three sections essentially. You've got LA, which would be like downtown LA area. Then you've got the west side of LA. So that's split by the 405. So the west of the 405 to the coast is West LA. That's a whole other world. There are people who move there and never leave because they never have to. They just stay in that little area and they are content living in that little area.
Because it's kind of a why ask that?
Because it's so urban. Everything you need is there. If you need to, like, most of the jobs you would get probably would be there. A lot of the interviews or auditions you would go on would probably be in that particular area. And a lot of things happen on the west side. People just stay on the west side. There's reasons why the rent over there is like, $3,000-$4,000 a month for an apartment. It's a lot of money. And then you've got the Valley, and the Valley is a big area. The Valley is a big, all-encompassing area.
Oh God, I've seen flyovers of that place.
And
it's huge.
yeah, there's like when I
Like the
live,
size of fucking Phoenix.
it's big, yeah, and it's a lot of cities. It's a lot of cities in the Valley. It's like
It's
north,
the southern greater Seattle area.
yeah, it's massive, and the traffic is a nightmare, and it's like it's kind of separated by the 5, and then also like the 170, and then the 101 ends right there. And it's so it's a crazy world to live in. And they don't have like a subway that goes into the Valley. They just have bus lines. Where I used to live was right down the street from the Red Line, the end of the Red Line, which is what the subway took you into downtown, and that was a 30-minute sub ride to get to downtown from North Hollywood. So I mean, and that took you through Universal City, Hollywood, and Highland. You go underneath like the hot spots of Los Angeles, and it's a You know, it's a pretty cool place.
Right,
And
right.
then you can connect to the Blue Line, which will take you all the way down to Long Beach, which is a hell of a thing. And there you go through like
Okay.
you go through the south parts of LA, like Compton and Watts, which is where I actually used to do a whole bunch of work for the LA Unified School District back in 2012. So they'd send me out there, and I'm like, I'm not driving my car. I'm just going to take the subway because it's cheaper.
Of
And
course, of course.
and then I'd get there, and they would tell me like, I literally this is true. This happened to me. I had a job where I had to go be at an elementary school at 8 o'clock in the morning in Watts, which is a
That's
bad
like
part
from
of town.
that's like from oh shit.
Yeah, yeah. It's like it's you know they say like the other side of the train tracks when you get off at the
When
stops.
they talk about LA, LA,
Well, I'm just using it as a general metaphor, but the idea there is one
but
half of
you get what I'm saying, right?
yeah, I get what you're saying. On one half
Yeah,
of the
the
street,
gang
yeah,
areas.
yes. On one half of the street, you have Compton, which is all like, you know, we know Compton from the rap music of the 90s of being like hardcore gangster rap, bad shit happens there, and they've done a lot to turn it around.
Yeah, like we're from like Tupac or
Yeah.
like Tupac's backyard.
Tupac, you know, NWA, Dre, those kind of guys, yeah. And
Yeah,
so,
uh, wh- and fuck, what's his name? Eminem, if he grew up in L.A.
well, no, Eminem's from 8 Mile, so yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, it would be from
he's
that
from
kind,
Detroit, but yeah,
yeah,
but that the general kind of socioeconomic area that we're talking about.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
So,
totally get what you're talking
but the
about.
thing
I
is,
mean, I used to live in urban Seattle for a couple of years. I get the idea. Sirens every night, gunshots every week, that
yeah,
kind of shit. Yeah, I
yeah,
get it.
it's pretty crazy down there. But anyway, so I get off the subway, I look at Compton. Compton is like they've done a lot of work on it. It's a lot nicer of a location. And then you
Oh,
look
so
at
they've renovated it.
yeah, they started gentrifying it a little bit, but not in the way that we would kind of view gentrification. It's not as dangerous as it once was. I mean,
Yeah, it's
one
not
of
the
the
South Park version. This is
yeah,
actually, you go in case by case, street by street.
well, one of the girls that I worked with on that particular day was from Compton, and she was like, "I love living in Compton," and I just kind of looked at her like, "Huh?"
Really?
Like I'm like, "You're 18, I'm 30, so we have a difference here of 12 years." In
What
regards,
changed in that time?
Dr. Dre funneled a lot of money into Compton. They put a lot of money back into it, and
Into infrastructure.
yeah, they've. It's just a lot nicer. I mean, I'm not saying I would like to live there, but just saying it's a lot nicer than it used to be. But
Oh God, yes.
Watts didn't change. Watts looks
Oh
like
yeah. So
what at least when I was there in 2012.
it
So
looks like it looks like all those drive by pictures of Detroit or Chicago
yeah,
in the rundown areas. It looks like
well,
hell.
but when you're walking through it, it's a whole different thing. You know,
Yeah,
like there's a difference
yeah.
between looking at a photo and like at 8 o'clock in the morning walking down this long road by about maybe, you know, about maybe a little under a mile to get to the
Yeah.
school and then going
If
into
I
the
were
school that's completely
Yeah.
surrounded by like gates and guards and shit, you know, and to go
Yeah,
into
it's
this,
like it's like when my grandpa went to Saudi Arabia and saw that there were guys with freaking LMGs guarding the fucking airport.
yeah. It's not like that. It's not. No one was guarding the school with LMGs. There were guards, but it wasn't like, you know, the high school had
They
full
were
on
more
like
like
security.
bouncers, but they were more like bouncers
Yeah,
than anything
not much
else.
happens at the elementary school, right? At least that,
Yeah,
from what I
yeah.
could tell. But anyway, so I go in there and I sit down in the office and I'm waiting for whoever is supposed to be my contact to come out and tell me what I'm supposed to do that day. And the principal comes out. Now, yeah, I remember this is like an all black school. And I'm like, I'm just a white dude sitting there, you know, like, hey, what's going on? How's it going today? You know, and then the principal comes out and she's all like, oh, are you here with the partnership program? I forget what it was called. And I'm like, yeah.
Hang on a sec. God damn it. Someone just commented on my video, and I literally put it in the comments and in the frickin' description what my source material is, and they're asking for the source material. I'm like, and I'm just gonna reply, dude, check the description.
Yeah, just don't reply. If they can't read, that's on them.
Too late. I already replied. Besides, they're probably 12, and it's a Soviet march music video that blew up and got me like 600 subs. So who the fuck cares?
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So you know what? Hey, the Soviets were nothing if not tenacious in education, even if it was filled with communist propaganda.
Sure, sure.
Ugh.
So anyway, this is. I was trying to get to a point. I was almost there.
Go ahead about Principal in Compton.
And so she comes out and she's like, "Oh, so where did you park your car?" And I was like, "Oh no,
boy.
it's okay. I took the subway here." And she's like, "I'm sorry, you what now?" I'm like, "I took the subway. I decided to walk here." And she's like, "Are you stupid? You're gonna get shot." Seriously, they were warning me I was gonna get shot doing this job where they paid me $12 an hour to literally spend 8 hours fucking wiping down computer monitors that were not touchscreens that children, 5-year-old kids, kindergarten kids.
You sure they didn't give you a hazmat suit and a gas mask?
No, what they gave me were screen wipes that were completely dry because whoever had put them away last didn't seal the container all the way, so all the moisture had evaporated.
Fucking idiot.
So what I did is I found a spray bottle full of water, and I would just spritz the wipe, and I would moisten it, and then use that to wipe down the monitor. And I had to do about 140 of these things. And then it was a lot of because what it was is I thought I was there because normally for this particular job, they have me go down and train teachers how to use laptops. This was, hey, do you want to go to the ghetto and vacuum an elementary school floor? Because that's what we need you to do today.
Money.
It was easy money. The problem with it is though, is that I forgot to bring a lunch with me, thinking that there would be some kind of, because usually they fed us. When I did a full day with this thing, they would feed us. And no, they didn't feed us. And the only thing there was a bodega across the street. In the bodega, there was no air conditioning inside, and all of the drink container or the drink coolers, they weren't coolers, they were just lit up for effect. And so all I did is I bought a 99-cent Arizona iced tea and a bag of Funyuns, and that was my lunch for the day. Just to
what
get
a first day.
That was my only day. That was my only day because the next week they sent me down to South Central to go, and that
sounds nicer.
Arguably. It was air conditioned at least. They sent me down to South Central to go and they'd bought not laptops, they bought iPads because all the teachers were complaining, I don't want the brand new MacBook. I want an iPad. This is in 2012 when iPad 3s just came out.
2012, okay.
So people wanted the new iPad. And so
that's like a year after I graduated.
Yeah, this is a while ago. And so they take, I get there and my job was to basically put screen protectors and cases on the iPads. That was it. That was my job for the day, to put screen protectors and cases that they had all bought, just assembling these things. The problem,
even easier money.
Well,
for guys like us.
you would really think, you would like to think that, except they didn't purchase. They purchased all the screen protectors and the cases from Chinatown in bulk.
God.
So I could get.
And they're probably the only way this could be worse is if they were the wrong size.
No, they were the right size. The problem though is that the cheap plastic used to mold the cases wouldn't work with it wouldn't work with trying to get everything in. Like you couldn't just put the iPad in the case. It would it's just one sided, you couldn't bend it at all. And so a lot of what happened was really just okay. And then with the screen protector, it was so shitty, it kept bubbling over, which is not what you want on a screen protector anyway. So we'd have to sit there and take my credit card and start trying to smooth it out, all the air bubbles, which would oftentimes not even work very well. And then I found, because they moved us into the old wood shop that no one was in. No one ever used this thing for years, but it was air conditioned. It was me and this other guy in there. Mm-hmm. And we spent the whole day working on this, where I'd have to take a screwdriver and my credit card and kind of treat and basically kind of fit it around the iPad very gently, as to not hurt the iPad, but to just pull it up and pull it back in like a loom. It felt like I was looming this thread into the iPad. And but then when it came to the screen
I have a
protectors,
pretty broad vocabulary, and I don't know what it means to loom something.
it's like a sewing thing. It's just kind of threading it through.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Basically what would happen is we had to then the screen protectors themselves wouldn't fit with the case, but there was a paper cutter, an old paper cutter that was there, and so I would sit there and I would, you know, using my skills from being a person who worked on 35 millimeter film for 5 years,
Nice.
splicing movies together, I would very carefully cut the screen protectors down to size.
Oh yeah, that makes sense.
I'd cut them down to size, and then I would go over and I would put them in the thing, and then we would make it work. They had, I think, 100, and I think it was like 100 or so iPads they wanted us to do. We got through about 40, right?
Oh boy.
We got through about 40, and what happened after that was we were done for the day. And I asked the guy, he was like a student or some shit. I was like, "Are you coming back tomorrow?" And he goes, "I don't think so. I think I'm only on for today." Well, I was scheduled for the next day. And I'm like, "Fuck you. I'm not doing this job by myself," because that's just like, for one, they don't even check on you all day. So they put you in this workshop. Like, I could have stolen all of these iPads and no one would have fucking known. I could have stolen all of these iPads. They said the iPads were specifically designed with like GPS tracking inside of it, which is not true. It was just Find My iPhone.
Yeah, these were like the early iPads.
Yeah, they wouldn't have had that. They would have had Find My iPad. They would have had that feature, but you just don't activate that feature and you're good to go. But then ultimately, we had to leave and go get lunch at some point, and so we left. And there was no locks on the door. Had any student wandered in there, they would have found this cabinet full of 100 iPads.
Oh, kid in a fucking candy store.
And so, thankfully no one stole anything. We went out and we went down to USC and, went to Chick-fil-A and got lunch and then came back and finished out our shift.
Yummy.
And then, so the next day I didn't even bother to go in. I was like, fuck this shit.
I'm not putting in extra effort if they're not going to.
No, plus I had to take the bus down there and everything. And that was a goddamn nightmare in and of itself. So it was one of those things where I'm like, fuck that.
Fuck this. I took the bus enough as a kid in school. I'm not doing this as an adult. I'm sorry, that sounded really elitist, but still.
Well, I don't care about that. I don't care about taking a bus. I don't care about none of that shit.
Well, just dealing with a bunch of assholes on a bus, I just won't last.
Yeah. There's, this is a city bus. It's not that big of a deal.
It's a city bus, yeah, not a school bus, but I get your point. Still, that the school bus left a major bad taste in my mouth, and I have no desire to repeat that experience.
So yeah, it's I've always enjoyed. I've done Greyhound across the country a couple times.
I did Greyhound from Seattle to Grants Pass.
No, that's nothing. That's like what? That's like 8 hours.
Yeah, but then again, I once drove from Alexandria to Wenatchee in 3.5 days.
Yeah, but you're driving.
Louisiana.
But you're driving. That's different than taking a bus.
That's
I've done Portland to San Diego and back multiple times. I've done San Diego to Houston, or I should say back from Houston to San Diego. I've done San Diego to Dallas Fort Worth a couple times. I've gone, I've done the multi-day trips on Greyhound. And I'll tell you this, outside of the really shitty legroom, it's not as bad as it could be.
It's almost like a ground plane.
So
in coach.
Well, yeah, except yeah, man, I was in Houston trying to come back to San Diego because I'd help my friends. Okay, so my friends asked me to help them move, like drive one of their cars from San Diego to Houston. And they're like, we will fly you home. And I'm like, cool. That sounds great. Food and board for a couple of days, drive a nice car, go to Houston, cool beans. We get to Houston. How nice a
car are we talking?
Cadillac? It was nicer than my car. So at the time, I was happy with it.
Better than a 90s Nissan?
Yeah, it was better than 90s Nissan. It was like a sports car of some kind. I forget what it is at this point. But anyway,
real quick, can I go off on a tangent here for just a sec?
Sure.
My first car was a Mark 8 93 Lincoln. all black, even interior leather, and it had a V8 engine. Delicious. And it had a CD changer in the trunk. That was my first car.
Nice.
Yeah. I was going too fast on a rainy day and rear-ended someone, but whatever.
All right, hold on. Some people are joining into the
call in stuff. All right, cool.
Well, they want to join the Discord, and I forgot that we've got the verification on, so I just checked the verification.
There's already a guy in there. But hey, you a Halo fan?
Yeah. Always been a Halo fan.
You heard of Halo Outpost?
No, I haven't.
It's this convention that's going on all over the country, except in Seattle, which I hate. And it's got like VR stuff. It's got it's some what's his name? Hidden Xperia actually speculated it's going to be one big massive marketing campaign for Halo Infinite. And you know what? I'm pretty sure he ain't wrong about that.
Halo Outpost.
I also posted something in Club 34 if you want to critique it.
Let's see. Yeah, I'll check it out later on.
Yeah, if you're a 40K fan at all.
And it's not coming to Seattle?
No, which is weird. The closest one to Seattle is like in Anaheim.
When in Anaheim? I'll be in Anaheim.
Hang on.
And now the website, I tried going to the website and it's all like locations and it's not working.
Well, it's probably still flooded by a bunch of fans, but no.
Oh,
Halo Outpost Discovery.
Okay. Let's see. Locations.
Halo Outpost Discovery. Here we go.
Orlando, Florida. Anaheim Location. Convention Center. When? Motherfucker. It's Labor Day weekend. It's gonna why yeah. Wait. Why the fuck are they doing this in Labor Day weekend, which is when that's PAX. That's fucking Penny Arcade Expo in Seattle. That's the big gaming expo in Seattle.
Oh shit, man.
That's dumb as shit.
I'm over in Wenatchee. I should come with you.
I'm only gonna probably go for they're only doing 4 locations. I only go for like 1 day or 5 locations. Their final tour is Anaheim. Oh, that sucks.
There's like one in Orlando, Philly, Chicago.
What's it cost to go? Anaheim. Wow, you can get a 3-day ticket. It's a 3-day event for $320.
For me, that's expensive, but for a guy like you, I'm pretty sure that's not.
No. For a guy, no. Everyone looks pretty expensive.
It's a pretty penny, but it sounds a hell of a lot like.
Well, let's see. You get entry to the Halo Outpost Discovery Marketplace and event programming. You get 1 hour earlier general admissions. You get to stay for 1 hour later. You get a VIP gift pack that includes a UNSC dog tag, exclusive Halo Outpost Discovery Funko Pop figure, and drawstring bag. Exclusive VIP lounge. Oh, that should be something. They should something like that should go to fucking Seattle, but that is what it is because there's only one West Coast. It's only one West Coast location.
That is just so weird. I mean, Seattle has plenty of room. I've been to the convention center there for Comic-Con 2013.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of room in the convention center, but it's going to Orlando, Philly, Chicago, Houston, and Anaheim. Oh well. But hey, man,
I'm Richard Horvitz at Comic-Con 2013.
Oh, nice. Well, anyway, thanks for coming in. I'm gonna grab someone else in, and then we'll talk again. We'll talk again soon. Thanks a lot for coming in. All right, so I think it was Double Dammit is gonna come in here. Hey, Double Dammit, how you doing?
Oh, hello.
Hey, sorry about that. Yeah, it's kind of a quick thing. I saw you were the first person to come on. That I could see sitting in there. How's it going?
Sorry about that. It's going good, man. It's going good. I didn't expect I was listening to your thing and everything. How are you?
I'm good. Tired. Had to do plumbing shit today. Had a faucet break in my yard, and so I had to kill. Yeah. The previous owners decided it would be a really cool idea to build an underground PVC water system, and the last storm we had cracked one of the pipes that we didn't know about, so that was fun.
Oh yeah, no, I've had to deal with that too. Like my sink got really backed up, and like nothing I could do would cause it to drain. And I used like acids and everything, and it took forever to unclog it. I hate it.
Oh yeah, it's We got it capped. We got it good today, so we have water pressure again, which is nice.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, you're up in the Northwest. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm over here in the best way I can say it is in Ohio. So it's like we need water pressure and heat. Otherwise, it just sucks taking showers.
Yeah. Oh, I can. Well, we just had even up in the Northwest, it gets pretty cold. Where I'm at, it stays mostly wet, but
Yeah.
we get a fair amount. Like it's been pretty chilly the last couple of days, and then we had this. It was weird. It was a mild winter, and then it just all of a sudden it just dumped like 3 feet of snow.
Yeah.
It was,
Yeah,
and it was all that fucking polar vortex because we got it too.
That's the funny thing is we kept getting snow, like just more and more snow. And there's this old guy that walks around our neighborhood, and I don't know if he's on something, but like he would come in like 7 o'clock in the morning every day. It's snow and be like, "Hey, I'll do your driveways and everything for like $20." And I'm like, okay." But yeah, that's the only downside of the snow that I have here. So I have to deal with that guy, and I'm just like, it's so weird.
Well,
I hate waking up that early.
Well, in Seattle, when we had that big hit a few weeks ago, there was a kid who had a truck and a plow, and he made 36 grand in 2 days by plowing by plowing driveways. Because the thing is in Seattle, because it's not necessarily prepared for a lot of snow. If it gets anything more than a light dusting, the entire thing shuts down. Portland's the same way, because the Northwest is predominantly designed for rain, not for like that little bit of snow, and so. This kid just made a killing. And even where I live, because I'm south of Seattle, like some of the parking lots, even the local Walmart, which was like completely bare shelved for a couple days, their parking lot was a fucking nightmare. And they would not pay to have someone go in and plow the parking lot.
Oh man, that would just enrage me.
It's like the only Walmart in the area. It basically everyone goes to like there's like a Walmart, a Costco, and a Fred Meyer, which is like a nicer Walmart. That's like all right there. And Walmart's like, no, we're good. Costco's like, yeah, we paid to have it paved. We paid all, we did all this stuff, made sure you guys can get in and get, and it was the stupidest fucking thing. But even gas stations were paying people a couple $100 to go and plow their stuff. And I'm like, I wonder if my Kia Soul, if I attach a plow to the front of my Kia, if my Kia could do it. And then I'm like, no, I can't go anywhere. I was stuck at home for like 3 days. It was crazy.
That's why you got to get yourself a good truck, man. I mean, I've always been a fan of the F-150s. You put a shovel on that and you're good to go. But I mean, that's mostly because when I had my F-150, I was out in Vegas, so I'd have to go out through the desert and everything. And yeah, I mean that truck was perfect for it. But for snow, I don't know. But yeah, what I wanted to do is I've said it to you on Twitter a few times, but I'm throwing the gauntlet down now live in front of everybody.
All right.
I want you to do a movie review on Futuropolis.
Futuropolis.
Yeah, Futuropolis, right? It was made in 1984. It's a 40-ish minute movie, and a buddy of mine told me about it, and he's like, just watch it. And yeah, it is insanity in movie form. It's not even like cool like Train Spotty type of insanity. It's just random.
And it's
yeah, I mean you can find it on YouTube easy. Yeah. I got the
okay.
And it's just it is.
It's got animation in it.
Oh yeah. Here, I'll put it in $3 theater.
Okay. Yeah, I'll check it out.
And,
it
is.
It
is jarring.
The Rotten there is no critical consensus on the Rotten Tomatoes page of it.
Yeah. No. This is so like it hasn't been seen by many people, and you'll see why. Like this is something that like I don't even think Mystery Science Theater 3000 would like take a look into, because it's just that obscure. Because as my wife will go on, I'm kind of like the weird hipster in the way that I love to find like the most obscure movies out there and see if they're any good. And most of the time they're not. Like if you ever seen the movie Predetermination. I apologize because that movie is just utter garbage. It's just, but that is one thing I do love. So that's why I'm still subscribed to you, is because I do love your $3 theater, and I mean I'm a huge movie fan, so like I do take most of what you say, to heart. Like, okay, yeah, I can understand that. I mean, except for the whole Last Jedi thing, I think they should have stopped right when Rey offered her hand. Like, if they would have ended it right there, it would have been a perfect movie. But they just went too much over.
No, I agree with you. If they would have gotten rid of, if they would have ended it there where it was like that, because I remember when that scene happened in the trailer, and I'm like, oh damn, like
you're like, oh, what's gonna happen?
What the fuck? I was thinking that to myself when I first saw the trailer for it, and then it gets to the movie, and it's just like, what? That's so lame. That they kept going after it, because it's just like, oh, Rey left. Where did she go? Yeah, she just took off.
Bye,
how did she leave? I don't know, man. The door was open. She got into an escape pod. No one is paying attention because shit's going cray. She snuck out. Then the Millennium Falcon just popped out of nowhere and scooped her up. I mean, like, that thing is, there was so many bad plot points in that movie. Again, my number one thing is still Canto Bite. Cut out Canto Bite and you improve it by like at least 45%. But let me posit this idea past you, because I had this the other day, and I think it's gonna. I think it's the thing. But if also my concern is the whole Luke dying thing, because when you saw it, if you go back and watch it again, when Luke is sitting on the slab after we find out that he forced doppelgangered himself across the galaxy, he's holding his side. You can see it, or like it shows him and he's kind of winded, and his hand is covering his side, and it corresponds with where Kylo Ren cut him when Kylo Ren tried to go through him with the lightsaber. And so the thing for me is, like, if you go back and you watch why I think if that would have been what killed him, I would have been okay with that, because that would have been like, okay, because it goes back to when Rey and Kylo are talking to each other, and it gets to that scene where it's like, like it's raining and Kylo sees there's moisture on his palm, and then it gets to that where they're gonna touch, and you don't know, are they gonna like force cyber sex each other? Like, is this gonna happen? And then, like, that whole thing goes down. They were able to touch each other, meaning they're able to materialize. So it makes sense that using that particular train of thought, that they would then be able to, that would have injured Luke. If he's putting all of his energy into this, he would have materialized there, because he was able to kiss Leia on the head and hand her the dice. And there was clearly weight in her hand about the dice. She clearly felt that the dice were there.
I don't think, that's the thing. I don't think he died. I don't think he did, because like when you saw how like Yoda died and everything, when he died, his clothes settled, right?
Yeah.
But when Luke died, his cybernetic arm didn't fall.
Well, yeah, that was I think they're going to use that as a way out, to be honest with you.
They have to. I mean, it's unfortunate. Like, they have like pigeonholed themselves into such a fucked corner. It's like, okay, we're going to go this way, because like at first, like, the biggest moment that made me go, what the fuck is this movie, is when Leia survived. And I was like, no, just stop. Just, no. It would have been like the most perfect death for her. It's sudden. It's heartbreaking. It's one of those things where you're just like, oh shit, she's fucking gone.
Yeah. They could have done it. They could have totally done it. And I think it would have been okay. I think it would have worked out just fine. And I think nobody would have given a big shit about it, to be honest with you. They're like, oh, well, yeah, that's where Leia went out. It could be worse.
Yeah, exactly. Like, it could have been the Han death. Ugh.
Well, even the Han death wasn't as bad as I think it could have been, but it was spoiled for me. That was spoiled for me going into the movie, which I was really pissed off about, because people were literally like faking. This is true. They were faking news articles. They were photoshopping in news articles with the spoiler, and then they were sending me the news article a couple lines down, so I don't know that it's there.
Oh, God,
and it says Han Solo was killed by his son Kylo Ren by getting a lightsaber through the heart. Like, that's what they said. I'm like, you motherfuckers. I was so
Yeah, I
pissed.
hate
I was
spoilers.
so
I hate spoilers so
motherfucking
much.
pissed on that one. But I don't know. I would argue that like they're gonna retcon, I think, a lot of stuff with this next movie.
I hope so, because like, and that was the one thing, like, because I like Star Trek more than I like Star Wars in that aspect, but like, I love the Star Wars extended universe because it was so good. Like the books were really good and everything, and when Disney was like, "Ah, no, that never happened," and you're like, "But there's so many awesome things that happened. You have so much reference material." Nah, no. And I'm like, it boggled my mind because then you kind of see where it went. It went from there's no extended universe to here's the new shitty movies, and here's Solo, which is God, it was really bad, and I've gotten into many debates because I find it total bullshit that you've seen Solo, of course,
Multiple times.
but I find it total bullshit that Darth Maul survived that. Like,
well, the thing is though, but we knew Darth Maul was alive. If you watch the animated shows, you already know that Darth Maul is alive. So ultimately, it's not that big of a deal. It's not that big of a thing.
It was for me because like I was just like, look, okay, like I can understand like Darth Vader, how he survived, right? Like they're like, oh, his hatred helped him survive. It's like, yeah, and an entire robotic suit, you know, after they got to him like minutes after being burnt like that, then he was able to be saved. You're talking about a person who was cut in half, fell God knows how far, right? Then managed to sneak aboard a craft, then managed to survive somehow without a working, intestines or colon to make robot legs. And it was just like, it was too much. Like you pull way too far.
I don't know, man. See, to me, that's far more believable than Luke doppelganging himself across the galaxy. That's how I view that.
Yeah, and that's the thing is that's why they've pigeonholed themselves so much, And you're just like, oh God. And I know I'm going to go to the third movie with the whole, what the fuck are they going to do now?
Oh, dude, everyone's going to go to the third movie. And if you watch a video and someone's like, I'm boycotting episode 9, you're like, nah, dude, you're going to be number 1 in line. Don't even fucking lie. Like, you're going to be, you're going to go, you may not talk about it, but you're like, deep down, I've got to see it.
Yeah. And, the whole boycotting thing, I think it's just idiotic. And like, for me, right? Like, I've seen shitty movies. And when I saw the, 2016 Ghostbusters, I was like, no, I'm not going to go see that. Anyone else wants to go see it? You guys can go see it. That's cool.
I had to go see it. Like and that's part of, I don't know if you saw that video I put up yesterday or the other day, the 5 reasons I'm seeing Captain Marvel.
Oh, I'm going to see it.
Because a lot of people are like, you got to boycott it, man. I'm like, nah, I'm good.
No.
I'm like, no, I'm fine. But I lay out the fact, like the number 5 reason, like I said, number 5 is I'm a reviewer. It's my job. That's that's like the key thing right there. 2, I'm like, this movie isn't Ghostbusters. And even though I talked shit about Ghostbusters for 4 months, I still saw it at the earliest convenience. And the reason why was because, well, I wanted to, I had to make sure that it was either good or it was bad. Like I owed that to people. I think if you've watched my commentary of it, up until that point, for me to not finish it, to not have follow through, to spend the 2 hours bitching about it, or to see it just so I could bitch about it or whatever, is pointless to me. It is. I was like, and that's when I see people like, I'm boycotting Captain Marvel, and I'm like, the fuck you. Like, who cares? You can't sit there and bitch about the movie and not go see it. That's like, it's like not finishing a video game but complaining about it in a review. It just everyone roasts people if you do that shit. So you got to have follow through, because how else can people trust your word? You know?
But the thing that I find funny about the whole Captain Marvel thing is they're like, oh, she's a great blah blah blah. I grew up reading comics. All right, I grew up watching the cartoons and everything. Captain Marvel was a fucking footnote into Rogue becoming the most badass fucking female in Marvel. That's all she was to me. Because, Rogue drained all her powers and boom. That's why Rogue was such a fucking powerhouse.
Yeah, I heard about that. That was something I saw. I kept seeing that comment pop up quite a bit in the last few months. Like, oh, well, don't worry about Captain Marvel for right now. As soon as Rogue comes in the picture, fuck Carol Danvers. You know, fuck
Yeah,
that
that's
shit.
exactly
She's
what
fucking
happened.
gone. Like I've seen that. That's popped up a little bit. But the thing is though, it all boils down to whether or not the movie makes money.
Yeah, of course. I mean, but that, I mean, and that's true because I mean, look how far fucking Twilight went, right?
Don't remind me of that fucking hell.
God. But the thing is also growing up, I think me and you are around the same age. Captain Marvel was never Carol Danvers. Captain Marvel was Shazam. That's who he was. That was Captain Marvel for me because that's what his name was Captain Marvel. He only shed Shazam, which was like really cool because I'm gonna go see Shazam because it looks awesome. Maybe I'm more of like a DC in some aspects, but like that movie looks pretty cool because
it knows awesome. What it is. Shazam as a film knows what it is. And I think that is what's ultimately going to be pretty good there is the fact that Shazam is one that people are going to be interested in seeing. It's also the new trailer drops tomorrow.
Oh yeah, that's awesome.
So they're putting the new trailer out. Yeah, tomorrow they're doing that, and then they're going to be, I think they're kind of trolling Captain Marvel a bit, and people keep saying no, they're not, and like if you really look at what they're doing, they are totally trolling Captain Marvel.
Well, yeah, of course they have to. That was the whole premise behind them, behind Billy Batson, and all of that. It was just DC giving Marvel the biggest, fuck you ever. Just look what we have. We have this Captain Marvel over here, don't you? And yeah, it was hilarious. And like I said, that was the old school back when comics were weird and they went over with the censor. Back when you would have like the Quilted Man versus Batman shit, like back then when it was all just silly tongue-in-cheek shit, and then, thankfully they got out of that era in like, I think it was like the 80s.
Yeah, they've done a lot with it. I think I have a feeling Shazam is going to do well with the young kids because it looks it's really geared for that audience. And I mean, like I said, it all boils down to Captain Marvel, whether or not it performs well in the first 3 days. And if it performs well in the first 3 days, I think things are going to be like okay for it. It really just depends. What is it? The review embargo lifts on Wednesday morning at 6 a.m.
Oh God, that was so stupid for Rotten Tomatoes to do that.
I actually completely disagree. It was because the way I view it's like this. If you want to like leave a score, because you can still vote on it if you want to see it.
Okay, so they have that.
The score is still there. Like it's just more like the comments are gone. The comments are pointless. Like it's like okay, because what it was is I've literally watched YouTube channels look at that number and go, this is everything, right? And like one guy did it for Solo, and he's like 44% of people want to see Solo. That's it. No one wants to see it. And I looked at it real quick, and I'm like, okay, so 12,000 people voted on that. All right, 12,000 people. Let's do some quick math real quick. So looking at it from a numbers game, you have roughly 4,000 theaters in the U.S. that would be running Solo on average, about 4K.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked up what's the average number of movie theater seats per auditorium? About 100. It's about 100. So you do that. You do 100 times 4,000, which is 1.2 million. So 1.2 million potential tickets could be sold per screening. There are 5 screenings per day. So it's roughly about 6 million potential tickets sold per day. Yeah. That's just the math. But let's just scratch that out and go for one screening on that first day. 1.2 million. What is 12,000? What's that? It's 1%. So what you're telling me is that 1% of people, and it's only, and 56% of that 1%, so like 6,000 some odd people, right? 6,500 some odd people, just generalizing it, doesn't want to see Solo. And that is meant to represent the whole of everything. That's what I'm talking about. Like when people use it like that. Now, in the case of Captain Marvel, you had both sides acting like fucking idiots. You had the journalists that are trying to protect the movie saying, this is review bomb. Like, how can you review bomb a movie that doesn't have reviews? And then you have the other side that's like, it's working. People don't want to see the movie by mass downvoting it. Like, it doesn't do anything because it's not a solid metric to go by.
And that's such a stupid thing. Like for me, when I was like, the whole want to see thing, I view that as good, and I'm glad they kept that. But like the comments, I'm like, just like with her, like with the actress Brie Larson, right? Like, I don't know. For me, it doesn't matter what the actor says because I could give a shit less, right? Some of the best movies I've ever seen in my life. I don't know how the actor talked outside of the movie. I just know him from the movie. One of my favorite movies of all time. It's a classic. It's The Seventh Voyage of Sinbad. Right? Ray Harryhausen did the stop animation. You know, it was just God tier, right? I grew up with the movie and I loved it, right?
Yeah.
I could tell you nothing about the actor outside of the movie. I can tell you nothing, but it's still one of my favorite movies. That's why I've never cared about like when an actor or an actress says, you know, oh, white people shouldn't go see this movie. Fuck, I'm going to go see the movie. Fuck you. You know?
Well, it wasn't. She never said white people shouldn't go see the movie. No one ever said white people shouldn't go see the movie. But
she was saying that we need more diversity and
reviews. Because I mean, and the thing is, like I even called that out when it happened because that was really a dumb thing to say.
It was dumb.
It was absolutely stupid to say. It was so ridiculously retarded. But at the same time, it's kind of like, and also a friend of mine who does do movie journalism did get an email from one of the marketing companies that was setting up this like fan event and asking for them to send female members, like reviewers, to cover it. But then you get to see like one of the first press junkets and like all of the dudes are white, you know, all of the guys are white. And so it's one of those things where you're like, well, you want to change it, but these companies aren't hiring these people because overwhelming majority of film reviewers are white men.
Yeah.
You know, which is one of the reasons why they need to reach out to YouTubers who cover content, because that's where you're going to find diversity. And not only that, studies have proven time and time again, people would put more trust in YouTubers than they do the actual critics. It's even gaming. It's like this. It's I believe
it's true.
It's from Gamergate days. We learned that from the ESA study. You know, 3% of all game sales are influenced by reviews from websites. 13% of game sales are influenced by streamers and YouTubers.
Yeah, because like me, I'll be honest. One of my favorite reviewers is Jeremy Johns. I like him. You know,
I think he's a nice guy.
He has fun.
Yeah, I can't watch his content though because of the jump cuts. It just because when you say something and you don't give me time to comprehend what you're saying, or for it to set in a way that makes like I get your point and you immediately go to the next one. I'm like, are you cutting this together for people with massive ADHD? Like, are you just, because how else can anyone pay the fucking attention? And I watched a couple of his videos one day and I'm like, I can't do it. Like, he seems like a very nice guy. I've heard nothing but great things about him. And I'd like to enjoy his content, but I don't like kind of quick editing jump cut shit, because it's like, no, fuck you. I know why he does it. He does it because it keeps people engaged. The idea there is to keep them on the screen watching. So if every sentence is a cut and you know it's a cut, your brain automatically senses that disruption and you look. It really is like that. So he does that, and I guarantee you his audience retention levels are through the fucking roof, but it ends up being this bigger problem.
Okay, and then I do have one question for you, and I'll answer it with my thing here. Growing up as a child, what was the one moment in movie history that just shattered you? For me, it was Optimus Prime dying in the animated movie of Transformers. Fucking ruined me. Like, I was just like, he's the ultimate good. You can't kill him. You know?
Shattered me. I can tell you a moment that broke me in a good way.
Oh, okay.
That would be the lobby shootout scene in The Matrix. Very first, because that's like awesome. The very first time I saw that, which is 20 years ago this month, by the way. And I remember seeing it with my friend, and it gets to that shootout scene, and Spy Break plays, and they get into the gunshot, and then like for those like glorious, was it minute and a half, 2 minutes, however long that sequence is, I was completely glued to my seat. I had tears coming down my eyes from how intense it was, like just how in that scene I was. And it's still one of the greatest action scenes of all time.
Oh yeah. Did now you've seen Leon the Professional, right?
Yeah, multiple times.
Oh yeah, like the scene, like the end scene, like, God, I was a teenager when it came out. So like when I saw that in the movie theater, like I just had just man tears just streaming down my face, like, oh God, yes, this is glorious, you know. And that movie was really good, and it's one of, you know, Jean Reno's finest movies of all time, and,
Yeah.
and I love it, and a lot of people gave it shit because they're well, yeah, I mean, you understand why, because they're like, oh, he's just a pedophile. It's like, no, not even close, you know. And there was actually some bad press because, oh God, what was her name? Natalie Portman, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess something happened to her on set with one of the directors, like made a pass at her. And I was like, that's truly disgusting. But she's like, no, Jean Reno was just awesome. He was always awesome. And that brings me to another question. Is there a movie out there that you love that people hate because of the people in it or the history that has come from it? Like, we'll say, like any, you know, Harvey, you know, movies, you know, we were just like, wow. Or, God, I hate the guy. Oh, Quentin Tarantino and how he was. With
I mean,
Uma Thurman.
yeah, like, well, that you know, I think that was between them more or less. I think, you know, I think she understands Tarantino at that point, what he wants to do to get the shot. He should have been more honest with her about the car and everything else. And some directors have really fucked with people. For the most part, that doesn't bother me at all. Those things don't bother me. It's like, if I really gave a fuck about, you know, like, let's say religion or something, I would not watch any Tom Cruise movie because of how bad, you know, how bad fucking Scientology is. Yeah. So like, there's no point for that, in my opinion. But on that note, man, I do have, there's another guy that's waiting to jump in.
Yeah. Hey man, it was great talking with you. Glad to finally get you here.
Yeah, no, I'll do this more often. We'll get more people in here.
Do the movie review on Future Paulus. Put it in the link.
I'll check it out, man. Yeah.
I need to hear that fucking review because it's a trip.
It might just be consistent of nothing more than, God, what the fuck? But
as long as you tweet me that, I'll be perfectly happy with that.
All right, man. Well, thank you very much for coming. I do appreciate it. Thank you.
You too, man. Have a good night.
Okay, so let's Colonel the Sheriff wants to come in. Let's see. Hey man, how's it going? He might need a minute to come back. Oh, hey, what's up, man? Sorry for the wait on that one. It's kind of hard to, I don't have a timer.
Yeah, that's all right.
How you doing? What's on your mind tonight?
I just want to know why you don't think I know you have your for your movie stuff. All the other YouTubers, they kind of, I guess Angry Joe would be kind of an example. Kind of puts all his stuff.
You're kind of breaking up a little bit, so I don't know what I couldn't fully figure out what you want to ask.
Sorry, let me try again. But I want to know why you bother putting your movie stuff on the $3 Theater stuff on your main channel, like, because that's what I guess other bigger YouTubers do. They kind of put it on the main channel. Cause say Angry Joe.
Oh, you want to know why I split off into doing $3 Theater versus this?
Yeah, I think you'd see like more success if it was on the main channel.
Well, the thing. Okay, so here's kind of like, there's a weird psychology that happens with people and channels. So people want channels to do a specific thing, and this is a big thing. A lot of people don't want there to be separated, you know, like a mishmash of content. They want it to be one specific type, and it has been proven time and time again. So like Angry Joe, when he does his movie stuff, so he'll do like a movie review on Thursday nights, or he'll see a couple movies or whatever, maybe a trailer breakdown, but then he'll also do gaming stuff. And that's just where his audience is. Like, I think he would do better if he were to go Angry Joe Games, Angry Joe Reviews, and like split it, because then the audience, he would get, I think, a better interaction from that audience. So people here on who watch Mundane Matt, who I cover, you know, when I cover the news and whatnot, not all of them like the movie stuff, and vice versa. In fact, over the course of the past 2 years, because $3 Theater is now 2 years old, I've actually met more people who tell me that they prefer that content, that they would rather I do that content than do the general news coverage. And I get that entirely. Like, and I do want to eventually transition to that being the predominant one, and then turn this into something that's more live streams and things like that. Just because I feel my passion is more aligned with talking about film. Not to say that I'm not passionate about talking about other stuff, but I think you get what I'm saying. So it's kind of a tough one because I'll put it to, actually 2 years ago next month, when the adpocalypse hit, I actually made the switch. I was like, I'm going to do the switch. I'm going to do movies on this channel full time. And then I freaked out because I had just bought a house. My girlfriend had just said she was pregnant. The adpocalypse had just hit. She was leaving her very, very well-paying job. We were moving, to the woods. And it's like, fuck, dude, I got to make money. So I got to stick with what works and then build up something else. In retrospect, I probably maybe shouldn't have done that. But, it is kind of where it is. I don't know if that answers your question or not.
I mean, it kind of does. And I think you can still, make the switch. And the reason I suggested all these other bigger YouTubers do that, their hardcore fans seem to be cool with it, right?
Yeah, the hardcore ones are there. Part of the problem with this particular channel is that, like, you look at Gamergate. Gamergate was like 4.5 years ago, right? So like there was a time when, like, just you think of Gamergate, and if you know about Mundane Matt, then it's like those two kind of go synonymous together, right? So then it's gaming, and it's like social justice warrior stuff, and it's a culture war, it's all of those things. And as my biggest problem was, like, I like to work. I get really addicted to working. I like to just keep moving, and so I just kept, like, moving away from, like, that. And because the social justice stuff gets a little bit old after a while, because I'm like, how many times can I just say the same thing? Feminism bad, like, how many times can I just repeat myself? But even psychologically speaking about the audience almost expects it. People like to go in almost knowing what they're going to get. It's one of the reasons why movie trailers are show as much as they do these days, because they like to know what's going to happen. They don't want to be surprised. So it becomes a bit of a problem, but that's the general truth of it. I mean, I get your point, and in a perfect world, I could make it all work, but I don't think I could, and not at this point.
Like, maybe because I think you split it off. I guess you were kind of a Gamergater, kind of.
Yeah, well, I did Gamergate for a couple years. I guess
and
to an extent still do.
Gamergate's dead, or you don't, I guess, kind of abide by strictly Gamergate content.
Well,
it kind of makes it easier to separation.
Look at, like, Sargon, right? So Sargon, covered all the gaming stuff, and then he covered social justice, but he also talks a lot about history. He talks a lot about all these other things, and he's kind of been, he's been building towards a political movement. So his channel has altered course from being about, fighting the culture war, to going in and trying to get in UK politics, right? Like, trying to get into that stuff. And so people do change over the years. Like that's again, one of the problems, is people kind of expect the talent to still do the same thing and to not branch out. It becomes, and it's no one's fault. Like, we just kind of, like, expect, like you said, Angry Joe. Like, if Angry Joe all of a sudden started covering 13th century poetry, would you still watch him? Like, on that channel, would you still watch him?
No.
Exactly. See, that's my point. So even though, like, the culture war and gaming and elements of movies all overlap at some point in time, and I talk about those issues when they do overlap, I go to $3 Theater predominantly because I like movies. I just want to talk about movies. I don't want to fight. I do fight sometimes. I don't want to. I want to just go, I'm excited for this movie. Here are the reasons why. And that's what I want. And, I try to project that mentality, but over here on this channel, it's a different thing. It's a different beast entirely. And it's it's just, that's just how it is.
Yeah, but sometimes, yeah, I guess your main channel, your $3 theater, the topics kind of overlap sometimes because sometimes they interlace.
Sometimes, yes. Sometimes I do. And I fight that quite often. Because I hate when I overlap it. I do. Because I'm like, I don't want, because I don't, I sometimes don't catch it. Because when I sit down to record, I bulk record like 6 videos in a day. So I just kind of bang, 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 bang. I just get it out. And then sometimes there's that overlap there, and I just failed to pick up on it right away. And I'm like, well, it's already up, But then I read the comments, and it's like, oh, fuck. Shouldn't have done that.
I guess, again, kind of telling you what other YouTubers, I'm sure you know.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No. I totally get where you're coming from, dude. And I'm just explaining to you my thought process on it.
Yeah.
Like I'm actually going to an event later on this week. A very prominent. I don't know if I'd call the dude like I don't like the term YouTube guru because I feel like that's just like a real lame terminology. But this is a guy who teaches seminars around the world. He's going to be in town this week. Doing a thing, and I'm gonna go to that because YouTube changes the algorithm every couple times a year, and so you got to be on the up and up. You got to know what's going on. So we lost him, or he went back to the green room. All right. Let's see here. So let me turn on Skype. Skype is up. The mobile number is active. Let me just make sure that I'm active on here so people can call in if you want. So that's 206-734-4312 if anyone here wants to shoot that a buzz. Or come into the Discord, hit up the verification, and I will let you guys in, and we can have a conversation that way. If not, we'll just give it a couple minutes. If not, I can bring the other 2 guys that are in the green room, which would be Colonel, the guy who was just in, and also Voice of the Emperor. So we'll have to wait and see. If not, maybe I'll have to announce this a little earlier because I just didn't really announce it at all. So we'll just give it a second here. Let me check the Discord main room. All right. Okay. So yeah. Anyone, what do we have here? We've got 25 people watching. All right. Well, I guess on that note, once you hit full on, whoa, Kimosabi, dead air, might be time to wrap it up for the night. Besides, it's 11:30 p.m. here Pacific. So, all right, guys. Well, hey, listen, thank you so much for listening. I appreciate it. I will talk to everyone at a later date. I do want to do these more often. I appreciate everyone chiming on in. Have yourself a great night, guys, and peace out.